another episode of Galactic Science with Arturio and Emerys. Today, I am going to do some work on the Stargate. I've had the fusion reactor set up for a while, I've upgraded the power system, I've got the raw materials, there's really no reason not to. So I've done a little bit of work ahead of time. I've made a supply of chythlenium and the selenium, and honestly I haven't done the math to figure out exactly how much of that I need. So we'll be making some more just so you can see what all is required, and then I'll start putting pieces together and see how far we get in the 15 to 20 minutes I'm going to try to keep this video to. Okay, so first step, I've got a couple of B-space barrels here linked to my lead and chlorine barrels, and it looks like there's quite a bit in there. There's 140 or so stacks of each, and these are really your main ingredients for everything that it takes to make your Naquadah. So I'm going to grab a little bit of each of that. And it's possible I may have to make more lead and chlorine, which isn't a huge deal. I'll just go take some compressed cobble and throw it into a decomposer. So lead and chlorine are the easiest way to make Einsteinium. And it doesn't take a whole lot of power if you've upgraded your power system decently. So I'm going to make a little bit of supply of Einsteinium. And because this is radioactive, you really just kind of want to make it when you're ready to use it. You can put it in a leaded chest, but for me, the only useful radioactive element I found is Einsteinium. So whenever I inadvertently made any other radioactive element, I just throw it in the trash can, because honestly I have not found a use for any of them. So 2 Einsteinium combine to make a memlenium. And 2 memlenium combine to make a chetwinium. And as the atomic number of what you're trying to produce goes up, it takes more and more power. And then chetwinium combines to make wilithium. And I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes so you can see the see how that you make all of this stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to need a little bit more lead and chlorine. I got a little bit too much, and in fact I still got a little bit too much. I'm going to make 32 Einsteinium. And let me see. And that's how you make chythlenium, is with 1 wilithium and 1 Einsteinium. That's how you make your chythlenium. Okay, so let me put that in the chest here. I have a little memlenium, I have a little cerium, not a lot. The other thing that you'll need to make is selenium. And the way you make that is you take memlenium. No, you don't. I did not need to make more chetwinium. Okay, but it's easy to fix. Okay, so let me make a little more memlenium real quick. Einsteinium and cerium. No, it doesn't. Sorry about this, folks. It's kind of early here. I am referring to notes, but apparently I'm not referring to notes very well. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time. Einsteinium. Einsteinium combines to make membranium. I'm trying to make a stack of 32. Membranium and cerium makes slendium. And the way you make cerium, the easiest way is just 2 copper. Okay, let me go downstairs real quick and I'll grab a supply of compressed rock, compressed cobble. Oh. Okay, so I set up the system here, special chest, has a couple of the packager upgrades in it so it compresses relatively quickly, and it has a refined relocation relocator on it with an extraction module, and then a filter that only accepts things that have triple in the title. So basically this is grabbing triple compressed cobble, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is that, from my personal experience, I found that to be the best thing to decompose. And then when I go up top here, I replaced all of the single compressed cobble with triple compressed cobble, and this is blast resistant, at least blast resistant enough to resist the meteorites and the creeper explosions. I just wanted to show that. That took a while, so that was why I set up that system, because there was quite a bit of that there. Okay, so over here, where is my decomposer, my generic decomposer? Synthesizer. Okay, oh, wow, I forgot I did this. So actually what I have, I've got a decomposer here, here's a B-space barrel, that's tied to the one that I showed you downstairs. All I have to do is just turn it on and let it run. And you'll see, it kind of goes through a sequence. It does sodium first, and I think it does oxygen last. Now it's doing chlorine. And at some point, there's about 12 different things it makes. It makes silicon, it makes lead. What it doesn't make is, I don't believe it makes copper. But the easiest way to deal with that is just go grab some copper and put it in one of the other decomposers. Like this one here, it's not decomposing cellulose right now, so I can just throw copper in there. It'll break down. This one here, that's a synthesis machine. I may have tied up all of my decomposers. Yeah, I did. Okay, that's fine. See, it's about to finish the cycle. It's doing oxygen. And when it finishes that, it should go back to sodium again, Na. Let's see if it does that. Yep, sodium. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off, and it's going to run for a bit because it's decomposed one piece of triple cobble, and it's got to break down everything that it got out of that one piece of triple cobble. So it's got to go through the entire cycle, and it takes, as you saw, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to do that. Okay, that one. And I guess I'll put the rest of this copper back because it doesn't really take that much. And if it turns out I don't have enough materials to make everything for a Stargate, I'll do the rest of it on camera, off camera rather, and then this is still processing stuff from Mercury, it looks like. Then I'll physically build the Stargate on camera in another episode. Okay, so as you can see, that little bit of decomposing brought us back up to around 140 stacks of each. And the couple bars of copper, I think it did 2 stacks of copper ingots. That should give, I think, 32 stacks of copper. So, I am going to make a few more things that you will need. So I'm going to grab some more of this. And again, kind of the basics, you're always going to start with Einsteinium. So I think I've done the math, and if you look at the atomic number of what you're producing, I think it takes 1,000 RF for every, for each atomic number of the item you're producing. I think that's how that works. So as you can see, when you're making Cyclinium, which I think has like an atomic number of just shy of 900, it's a tremendous amount of RF. I mean, that would work out to just shy of 1 million RF per Cyclinium, something like that. Okay, so this membranium. If I come over to this synthesis machine, and that's the recipe for making the Venus crystals, is 1 Cyclinium and 1 Selenium. But frozen iron ingots, which you will need, is just 1 millennium in a synthesis machine. But it takes a lot of power. This thing can only hold 500,000 RF, and you can see it's kind of having to recharge that. So this is, I don't know, maybe 1 million RF to make one of these, maybe 700,000 or something. So it's slowly making some frozen iron ingots. So that should make 64 of those. They'll take a minute to come through the system. And there's some chetwinium I made earlier. I suppose I can lock these two things. I guess I can't do that with something in my hand. There we go. Okay, so we have a stack of frozen iron ore from Pluto. And where is my compressor? There it is. I believe to make those, does that not work? Frozen iron plate. Oh, okay, you just take a single one. There we go. We'll just let that run for a while, because that'll take 10 or 15 minutes to do. And I may need more of that. Again, I haven't really done the math. Okay, so now Einsteinium. Make the next thing we need. This should make chetwinium. Okay, there it tells you what it takes. That was just shy of 400,000 a tick. And again, that's 1,000 RF per item per atomic number of what you're producing. So the chetwinium in the synthesis machine makes sapphires, which those are an ingredient that you'll need also for the Stargate, the sapphire plates. So we'll just let that run. Don't worry about making those into plates later. You just throw them into another compressor. And the next thing, let's see, that's raw ununpentium, which is going to be a little bit annoying to make, because I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. This is going to take some time, so I may cut the video here and kind of edit this down to make it a little shorter for everyone. Okay, So now I have 2 stacks of chetwinium, and these will make willithium. It just will take a little bit of time. I'm going to make a stack of wilithium, and then we'll go make the raw ununpentium out of it. So just shy of 800,000 RF, and that corresponds with the atomic number of the wilithium. Now the system that I have, the power cables here are, I believe they can do right around 80,000 RF a tick. Let's see, Ender Energy Conduit. Yeah, 81,920 RF a tick. That's your limiting factor. I don't know if there's a way to increase that if you use more than one line, maybe. So this is going to be very, very slow because it's 500,000 RF a tick, or per item, 500,000 RF an item. And this is making the raw ununpentium, which is another one of the ingredients you need for this heavy-duty plate. You need ununpentium plating. Okay, so while that finishes running, let's go get the products from our previous we'll lock these, grab that sapphire, and go put it in a compressor. All right, let me make the ununpentium plates. Oh, circuit fabricator. And again, this will probably take 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to go check on power real quick and see how we're doing, how everything's keeping up. Okay, the capacitor bank is full, so my various generators are keeping it full, but as you can see, I'm hugely draining down the advanced generator. The advanced generator is having trouble keeping up. So we are working at capacity here, and the good news is it's keeping up with propane. But this is just barely. Probably what happened was this got drained down completely while I was using the fusion chamber to make the high-duty items, and I just had enough capacity in here that this didn't drain completely. So I suppose I could change this to 8190/20 for the absolute maximum output there. All right, let me go up top. We'll see how the compressors are doing. Slow. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. All right, everyone, I'm back. So while you were gone, I finished making all of the plates to make the heavy-duty Tier 6 plate. And that is, wow, I guess it makes 3. Does that say that in the recipe? Yeah, okay, it does say that it makes 3. Okay. I was worried I was going to have to make more of that just because it's such a tedious process, but that's good news. So over here, I've got 3 stacks of the Venus crystals, and while we were off camera, I basically took the cathlenium and the selenium that I had made earlier, and I just put the 3 stacks of each in here with this recipe to make the Venus crystals, and that took 2 or 3 minutes to make, maybe 5 minutes. I wasn't paying exact attention. So I set this up earlier because you need tremendous amounts of blocks of coal for these recipes. And I may not have enough to make all of it that I'm going to need, but that's all right. I'll do the rest of that off camera. So I'm going to make a stack of the Naquadah. One stack, just that quick. Now this has to go through a furnace. Now somebody said if you make an arc reactor or an arc furnace, this thing here, that this will double the ingot production. Sorry about that, folks. My dogs are awake now, and they are happy to see me, as they always are. I'm trying to decide if it's worth it to make this. What I may do is I may make this off camera. The Naquadah takes a tremendous amount of time to smelt. Oh, unless you're using a modular furnace, apparently. Let's see if this works. Is the Nac going to come through there? Where did my Naquadah go? Ah, yep, there it came through. So, under normal circumstances, if in like an alloy smelter, if you put your Naquadah in there, oh, that's weird. Oh, okay, I see what happened. It went through the furnace. It did not get smelted. So the modular furnace does not work. Just 1 second. So it's going to take 2 Naquadah to make each alloy ingot. And honestly, each one is going to take about 5 minutes to smelt. So all of this is going to happen off camera. While that's happening, I may possibly make that arc furnace that Sunseal mentioned. I don't know that it'll smelt it any faster, but it supposedly doubles the output, and it'll save me the entire process of making more, because honestly, a stack of Naquadah is not enough to make a Stargate, unfortunately. So we're going to call it right there. That's our episode for today. Those are the early steps of preparing to make a Stargate. I hope everybody got something out of it. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like on it, and if you haven't subscribed, it would be great if you'd consider doing so. Thank you for watching. Arturio Emerys signing out.